What happens if you tap on one of the bubbles?
All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. And we're going to start up slow here because we have a new public link for this stream. For some reason, the previous key just, well, we're back in it and we're live again. And here we are with Pluto Social. Here we are with Pluto Social and their incredible project, Pluto. I don't know why I pronounced it that way. I'm just sort of freaking out that the stream died and I had to bring it back to life. But Nick was there and we're alive again. So hurrah, hurrah. Um, I remember seeing the first wiggly line transition mock up and going, ooh. And yeah, I just switched over to on screen. Make it wiggle, make it wiggle. I want to see it wiggle. I just love this idea. It was, and in the first mock-up, of course, it didn't have that fluid quality to it, but you could see the promise in it, and you guys really delivered on this experience, and that's just this one interaction. This whole concept of trying to build a kinder, gentler social environment is really not just admirable, but intriguing. And so, losing my voice here. Tell me about your project that we did something. What did we not see in the showcase? What did we not see? How did this start? How, at what point did you realize Clay was evil and he had to be kicked out of the group? Give us some dirt.
I think I'll start off by saying I think something interesting about our project is we didn't start off with an idea. We started off with a team, and I feel like that's a very different approach than how other groups went into it. We didn't have a concept. It wasn't one person pitching an idea and then people joined on because the idea. It's more we chose each other because we know we like to work with each other and we knew that we were going to be a good team. And then from there, it was less important about what we were going to build, but who we were going to build it with. So that was our main focus starting out. And from there, it was really just finding something that we all cared about. And, as digital media students, we're all very familiar with social media. And like Sarah said in the presentation, we thought we found a gap. We thought we found a gap for more meaningful social connections. And that's where we headed. And I don't know if someone else has anything else to contribute, but
Would you recommend that approach for future teams to start from let's get a team together and then let's discover the project after that?
absolutely. I think it was far more important that we knew we had good chemistry and that we could work together. And no matter what idea we chose, as long as we all agreed on it, then it was going to be a good project. And I think that was the recipe for our success, is that we were a good team and we worked well together.
Yeah, we all had this same sort of philosophy around like social media and the current state of like the way in which people are consuming media online. And we were all like, we like social media, but it's like kind of tiring and it has all of these things that we don't appreciate and we're like hyper conscious of because of the major that we're in. And I think those like more like those principles, like maybe outside of the actual application itself, but those principles of these are problems that we personally like have, and we with these platforms, like that was the thing that sort of facilitated this idea. It spawned from like originally wanting to create some like really premium experience that only certain people could have into this more holistic approach to try and like solve some existing problems that social media currently has.
You guys pulled it together beautifully. Not only did you succeed at working really well as a team all the way through, and that's something that's really difficult to do on a capstone project that goes on for a year plus. And you, excuse me, you should be really proud of what you achieved that in that sense. But also technically, you delivered on multiple platforms on time, even ahead of schedule often. And that's just, it's exceptional in a senior project, and I am proud to have been able to watch that unfold and to play some very small, tiny side role in the whole process, but to be able to witness it, and I'm thankful for that. And so thank you so much for sharing the project with us. Thanks for your patience while our stream went down and now is back up again. I hope that you continue to have people come through the expo. The stream link has changed, but the event page that has all the individual links for people to come in to all the individual exhibitors' rooms, including this one, if you want to go deeper into what Pluto has achieved here and understand their process and their project. I really encourage everyone on the stream to go and check that out. Go check out the event page and click through some of the links to learn about some of this project as well as more of the others. It's a beautiful project. You should be incredibly proud. Thanks for sharing it with us today. And I'm going to move on, but I hope you have a great Expo, and hopefully I don't have to restart the stream more than 3 more times. That's just a goal of mine. If I can just keep it from happening, just less than 3 more times. All right. Cheers. Congratulations. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you.
Windows and multiple apps.
Are you going to post it in the right chat? Oh, and you did.
Bless me, I did. All right. Okay. Oh dear. That also means I made our audio live, so we better make our video live too. Hi, everybody. That's me pasting and linking live on YouTube. Yay! Oh dear. Our only faculty lab, not our only faculty lab, but our only one represented today in the expo, and I'm so thankful that they're here to represent the research and everything that's been going on at Drexel, because Drexel is a research-heavy university, and our program, Digital Media, is incredibly research-heavy. I'm one of the few non-research faculty in the program, it seems to me sometimes. So, we have multiple research labs, but the Procedural Expression Lab, or Pixel, here Jen and Chelsea, and we have Glenn Muschio as well. So I've seen projects all the time coming out of the lab. I know you hire our undergrads. You have some great ones working with you right now. What is Pixel up to these days?
So much stuff. Yeah, we can go through a couple of quick projects we have going on. So let's just jump in real quick. So just real quick, what do we do here at Pixel is really important. We explore new forms of media experiences, and we really look at the intersection of design, aesthetics, and computation. So in particular, we're really focused on interactive narrative, experimental, serious games, and AI-based games, and also interaction design. So what we do is really try to use games as a medium. So our focus is to use game design to help solve some existing problems. So some of the projects we currently have going on is, first one is Step Heroes, and you can see a little image on the lower right-hand side. And this
I don't think we're actually sharing our screen. Oh, we are. Never mind.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
You're good.
Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a social fitness game where your physical steps are collected and then converted into something useful inside of a game. So your steps in this case, they power your hero character, and they're used to battle against enemy characters. So in this project, we're using social comparison theory and game design, and we aim to motivate players to be more physically active. The second game we have is Parallel, and this is a really cool 2D puzzle game, and it's designed to teach parallel programming concepts. So this game uses game design to help computer science students shift from sequential thinking to synchronizing multiple programs at once. So it really visualizes a lot of complex problems that you see in parallel programming. And then the third project we have going on is, it also uses Parallel, but it's investigating a new learning strategy, which we're calling open player modeling, which visualizes players' gameplay data and helps players to improve their gameplay performance. And finally, we have a really cool game called Scribbler. It's a working title, and it's a drawing game where there's two players that challenge a neural network. And it's really exciting because it's incorporating a neural network, which you don't see in too many games. So yeah, that's a quick overview, and then I'll turn it over to Chelsea because I know we don't have a lot of time, so I want her project to,
So my work is my own personal dissertation work, and I work with developing adaptive techniques to help improve learning of voice user interfaces. So if you ever had to participate in a study for extra credit, and the study was about Discover Cal, that's me. I've had many of you guys participate in my studies before that are some of the undergrad students that might be on the stream. So thank you for all your participation. And my research really focuses on how can we help people learn the different types of commands that are supported in these voice user interfaces that we see popping in our life. Like we have the Amazon Echo and we have the Google Hub as well. And a lot of times when you see the systems, you're really just looking at a microphone and nothing else. So how can we customize the way that we help each individual user learn the system? For example, some users may actually need more guidance to help them find what they're looking for with the system, while other users would actually reject and prefer a more hands-off exploratory approach. So my work really focuses on how can we detect these different users based off of their usage data without, asking you or poking you and prodding you, and then be able to automatically adapt and personalize the system to meet your needs, and therefore help you discover more things to do with it rather than just 3 or 4 commands like checking the weather and setting alarms and timers.
I'm overwhelmed. You guys have so much stuff going on, from the adorable characters of the walking to the incredible stuff that each one of you are involved in. Jen, you were just recently acknowledged as an incredible mentor at the university. Chelsea, everything that you've accomplished is amazing, and then to have Glenn here is a nice treat, as well as the founder of the program and
I was just hanging out.
But no, but
I just dropped in to visit Jen and Chelsea. So,
but I'm glad that
I picked this room on purpose. So
I'm glad they're here though, Glenn, because the program wouldn't have started without you. And you've kept the heart and soul of it going throughout, keeping us, reminding us to think not just of, hey, look, there's a cool feature, there's a cool new tool, but why are we doing these things? And I think that's a lot of what Jen and Chelsea and everybody else at the Pixel Lab, Dr. Zhu and everybody, are doing incredible things about these deeper ideas and these deeper interactions. And I love when I hear that my students are hired as co-ops within the lab and they get a chance to work with incredible researchers like you. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for taking the time and your patience. We're way off schedule. We've lost the stream I don't know how many times, but hopefully not again. Hopefully we stay going for the remainder of our time here. But thanks for spending some time. I get to move on. I hope that more people come and check out this room and talk with Jen and Chelsea, and even Glenn if he's still hanging around. But really, folks, this is an incredible opportunity to talk to some of our top researchers and learn about some of the incredible things that go on, not just in the classrooms, but in the labs and at the graduate and research level. It's an incredible program. We're one of the few out there with a PhD level in digital media, and this is a great opportunity to come see them. So please check out the event page and look for the links. You guys are under Digital Media Labs, and please come back and see them. I have to move on as part of the tour, but please enjoy the rest of the expo. Thank you so much for participating, and I'll see you around. See ya. Bye, Glenn.
See ya. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
See
Phil.
ya.
Bye.
Bye. And we're live here with Marblehead Studio, and I apologize. It says Marbleheads on the interstitial slide. I apologize for pluralizing you unnecessarily. I hope you don't feel too abused. You couldn't hear any of that because I did not unmute myself in the Zoom meeting. So I just apologize for pluralizing your team name unnecessarily on the interstitial slide. So it's Marblehead Studio, and I did it again. I can't stop.
That's okay.
There's more than one of you. I can't resist the
we get it wrong
plurality.
sometimes, so.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
we're not
thank
super
you.
dedicated one way or the other.
Thank you for your understanding. I think it's a huge boon to the animation teams to be able to study directly with Dave Moriello and Nick Shishin and Milady Bridges in your own dedicated cohort. I do miss having the contact and exposure with the animation students throughout the year, with the game and the IDM students in my grouping. But it does allow me to sort of come in periodically and get marvelously surprised with what incredible stuff that you guys are doing. And so I'll admit ignorance of, I've seen your project only at these major milestones, and I have such curiosity about how you got here. So if you can share some of that stuff with me, and if you've got some things you'd like to show, I've got a few minutes before I get to move along. How did you get here?
So we started out just like all with a love of Greek mythology and decided like we need to find something that everyone, or not everyone, but most people are already familiar with. So we decided to go with Hades and Persephone and wanted to make it our own, not just make another retelling of it. And that's when we really took off with making it about Persephone's choice and not just like the original like Hades kidnapping her and
I
taking
love
her
that
away.
idea, by the way. I really
Yeah.
love that idea. It's nicely handled as well.
Thank you. But yeah, it then turned into just narrowing down scope because Hades and Persephone is a very dense story and has many characters, and we had to figure out how to fit that into a 3 to 4 minute time slot with less characters and without Cerberus. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
was a lot of cutting back.
scope is always a challenge senior project, right? Everybody, every single team, even the teams that seem to have it all together and that the dice are always rolling their way, they're still overscoping and still having to adjust. Yeah, it was a massive scope that you guys dealt with. What was like, did you have to cut something that really hurt? I'm not after your pain. You can tell me about something that, maybe you can tell me about something that was easy to cut. What was easy to cut? Pain-free.
I know, like during our initial plans, we all had this big vision of a shot of going down like through the layers of Earth to the underworld. But in the end, it was like that took up too much time. It didn't really advance the story at all. And it, as much as like we were excited for it, we did have to cut it. And I think it hurt us all a little bit having to take that out.
That, and then we wanted to have Hades be like a dog dad and have Cerberus be there to like comfort him when Persephone had to leave, and he would have like portraits of Cerberus all over the walls of the throne room. But unfortunately, a three-headed dog is a big undertaking.
Especially when you also have 4 characters as opposed to a lot of teams which only had like maybe 2 main characters in there. So we had to adding a 3-headed creature and animating a 4-legged creature on top of that is something that just had to go by the wayside. So
I think you made a wise choice, though. Now I'm really sad that we don't get to see that. But one of our juniors, Deirdre Liu, has been doing some mocap with quadrupeds in the motion capture studio, and it's not simple, even at that. So I appreciate that was a good cut, probably good choice. um, in trying to tell this story and trying to get beyond the complexity of the original, down to just this point, you talked about adding in this idea of choice for Persephone. How did that change? How did that change the scope? You had the original myth to go from. You're cutting all these storylines out, but now you're adding in a new one and trying to make that work. Story development wise, I'm curious about that.
I think it worked out rather well. It was more or less instead of cutting and adding, just replacing segments of the original myth. So like in the original, we would need a whole section of the chariot on Hades riding his chariot coming up from the underworld. Whereas now we just have him step out of a crack and gently approach her. So it's a lot of just like swapping out like more controlling scenarios with more of like open choice scenarios.
And like replacing parts of the negotiation with sort of an explanation of what really happened, as opposed to Demeter's perception that it was more like the classic myth, where it was not her choice.
There are a lot of sort of arbitrary or like symbolic elements in the original story, such as like the only reason she's down there is because she eats a pomegranate, and there was a lot of debate with some of our advisors about that whole story element. And so just narratively, it was I think a lot easier, and it made a lot more sense for the sort of force of change in the story to come from one of our main characters, and that being Persephone deciding to stay instead of being like accidentally, and then Demeter and Zeus going down out of like need instead of just because of those fruit she ate. So
yes. Well, you got to watch out what fruit you eat, no matter what. Sometimes, especially as you get older, things with seeds, not so much. All right, Marblehead Studios, thank you so much for everything that you did this year to get a creative and great project that you should be incredibly proud of. But thank you so much for spending the time and energy to present it today and to share it with me here in this little guided tour. If folks on the stream want to understand more about the process, we didn't even talk about any of the modeling and the animating, all the incredible heavy lifting, right? I only have a few minutes and I ask a few questions and I have to move on, but I want you to want more, and so I want you to come and use the event page, use the direct link, go straight in and talk to Lindsay and Christina and Eli and everybody and learn more about what the incredible work they did here. So please stop in, enjoy the rest of the expo, and thank you guys for sharing it with us today. Have fun, and I have to move on, but thank you so much for sharing with me.
Thank
you,
you.
Thanks for
Rob.
stopping by.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a
Have a
good one.
good one.
Take care. Bye. We're live with Well Spent, presenting Well Spent. Come on. Really?
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it live now?
You are live now.
Okay, so
I was
my name is Tara and this is Note.
Hello.
And we've been working on Well Spent since last year. So we made this game in a response to a competition by Health Department. And the challenge was to create an interactive video game to focus on obesity prevention or weight control in women and girls. So we've been working on this project since last year, and we came up with our game. And Well Spent is an educational game storytelling that focus on grocery shopping and challenges that people face when shopping for healthy food. We have two goals for our game. The first one is to teach players how to read nutrition labels, and the second one is to raise awareness around barriers for food access. Do you have any question, Rob?
I do. I have questions. I have so many questions. My questions are, how, as sophomores, you're sophomores. We just saw 14 insane projects from senior teams that have been working on their things for a year. And here you are with this award-winning, we won't talk money, but you've done well. Good for contests. And you've done really well with this project, but you are only sophomores. And that, my friends, is incredibly impressive. I'm putting your graphic up on the screen right now of how people can, with QR codes, about how people can playtest. And I guess this is your video loop, and it's going to come around again in a moment. But
I can play, yeah.
Yeah,
I would love to have more playtester for a game. We're planning to publish it in June. So yeah, we still have a little bit more, not June, the end of June, so July. So we still have some time to make some changes. So we would love to get some feedback from.
That's good.
players. Yeah.
That's good point of view from a producer. Never really commit to too early a delivery. Keep pushing that back just a little bit. Buy yourself time. Better to ship early than to keep pushing it back. No, you guys have done extremely well. The idea came from the DHSS challenge.gov thing, but you really took it into a whole new direction, which was part of what got you recognized, right? You weren't just doing exactly what the contest had asked for. You brought a nice different twist to it, and that really stood out, I think, to the judges. So you've been able to hire on some additional help. You're working with a UPenn grad, and but it's still, all in all, it's still just a 4-person team. You're accomplishing a lot, and as somebody who's been involved in advising you, I'm continually impressed how much you stay on schedule.
Thank you.
Even on the weeks where Note overcommits and doesn't get to sleep as much as he does, the work is beautiful, and you have impressively stayed on project. And that project management experience of keeping the production on track is really impressive, and you should be extremely proud of yourselves for that. How have you learned more about this topic area? You're not coming into this as specialists in this kind of area. How have you figured out how to address these complex social issues?
So yeah, none of us are health expert in the team, but we made sure that we reached out to health expert and community members to make sure that the concept of our game is okay. So I think during the time of like the past 3-4 months, we've talked to definitely more than like 8 health experts to go through our game, play test with them to make sure shining any stereotype on any certain problem.
Sorry, I just messed with the stream audio, and I may have lost some of your most recent statements. I apologize. But you did work with all these specialists, and I really appreciate that you had to extend your network into these areas to learn more about this topic. So I need to move on. I'm way behind schedule. I dropped my stream. We started later than we intended, so I'm probably going to end up skipping a few people, unfortunately, through the tour. But I hope that people are checking out all the different rooms. You should definitely come in and talk to Tara and Note and pick their brains on how they've done so well in contests. These guys are pros.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for spending time with me. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us today and sharing a few moments with me here on the stream. Again, ladies and gentlemen out there, please take a look at the event page. Look for the links. Well Spent is going to be under the additional digital media projects. It's an incredible project, incredible accomplishment, and they're only sophomores. I'm almost frightened what you're going to do by senior year. Just get some sleep and keep going. All right. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you all later. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, and here we are now with Sungrazer Studios, and they're in, oh, gosh darn it, I'm muted again. Here we are with Sungrazer Studios and their incredible project Resilience. Maybe you guys didn't hear any of my intro text there before, so we'll just go with it. I'm going to ask you some questions because your slide deck was really well built. You told your story really well about this project, which is insanely dense. Not dense. Dense is a cruel word. It's deep. It has a level of content and complexity in the mechanics and the systems, and even behind the scenes. I'm very appreciative of the quality of your project management and how you kept everybody as a team moving forward on this. So with all of that and only 7 minutes or so in the showcase, and now I only have another couple of minutes to buy you, but what story did you not get to tell during the showcase that you'd like to tell now? That's my question to you.
There's a lot. So our programming team and our art team did a wonderful job just showing and creating systems with just a lot of depth and a lot of systems interlocking. I'm not sure if you can see Alex's screen right now, but he's got a playtest going that is several minutes through the game. He's actually only just a few cycles away from the winning point of our game. He has over 200 people living in his camp, and it's very, very chaotic as he tries to run around talking to everybody, making sure he has updated information about everybody. That you see in the UNHCR of earmarked funds that have to go to specific populations or specific groups in need. So he'll have to build those buildings, or he'll get that money taken back out of his funds, which is never a good thing.
If you don't mind me stepping in here, I'd say one of the stories that I don't know if our presentation really encapsulated, was just how hard everyone on this team worked to make sure that we were addressing the subject matter in a responsible way. We bounced our ideas off of everybody, and occasionally people would say stuff like, hey, that doesn't really sound like it's a very good idea to do because of X, Y, and Z. And I think everyone was just incredibly thoughtful about it, and I felt very reassured working about a serious games topic like this that I didn't know a whole lot about, just because of how invested everyone was in telling a respectful story.
I think, this process of senior project, the capstone effort that goes for a year, is not just about the technical nature and the creative nature of the project, but it is about the health of the team and having good communication and teamwork amongst each other. And I think you guys can be extremely proud of what you accomplished. I could talk about this project for a long, long time. There's so much going on. I remember in the very beginning you were worried about making it too hard for the player to win, but that really comes back to trying to get across the idea that doing this job in the real world is difficult, if not actually impossible, the way the system is, the way humanity treats each other, and the way governments and organizations and societies and communities do or do not choose to help each other. And I thought it was really important. I wanted you guys to close out the showcase because I thought that the message of what you were talking about was one that I wanted to end on that note. I'm really proud of this project. I'm really proud of you guys, and thank you so much for sharing it with us today. I have to move on, but please, I know we're way over schedule, but I hope that you can hang out for a little bit. I'm trying to let the tour run through 4:30. And I know some people I'm going to be losing because we're running over time, but thank you so much for being here. If you can keep your room open for another half an hour, that would be lovely. I hope you get some nice people I see you got a lot of people in here now. I'm sure there's lots of friends and family. You should all be incredibly proud. These guys are awesome. So thank you so much for sharing with me, and enjoy the rest of the expo, and thank you so much.
Thanks for dropping by, Rob.
All right.
Thank
Take
you, Rob.
care. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. We're live here with Tired Turtle Games and a game, Digital Janitors, which I personally bless.
It's true.
It's true in more ways than one. This game really came out of almost nowhere. The first time I saw it at a demo night, it was just sort of a cute little thing, but it seemed like, well, people haven't seen it yet. So do we have some graphics we can show? Because I want them to see the weirdness.
Yeah, I'm gonna start that right now. So hopefully you guys can see that.
Yeah, let me come over. Here we go. Now it's on screen. So, you didn't have this cool intro, and it was just this weird desktop simulator, and you're pushing folders around, trying to keep the diseased things in the right folder and the clean things in the other folder. But what impressed me, one, is that, well, you got to love that part. It's a personal favorite moment of mine. But in addition to in addition to having just sort of this core base fun gameplay, immediately around, I remember the conversation, there were all these, oh, you could do this with it. Oh, you could do this with it. You could do this with it. And some of it, you said, oh, we already did it. We just didn't do it show it in the demo today. And then I think the next time I saw the game was maybe a month later. I don't know. It wasn't that long. And the game seemed to have quadrupled in complexity. And so you grew this thing from this sort of seemingly simple idea into something that's really fun and has surprising depth. So how did this start? We have a couple minutes. How did this start? How did you get it from a simple idea of a desktop sim kind of a thing, and how did it explode from there?
So it started in GMAP 260, which is like overview and theory of gaming. It's kind of the first class we had where we're really making games. And this was our Shane, Tyler, me, and then two people who aren't on the team anymore, Dolman, and we worked on that original sort of first month prototype that you were talking about. And we thought it was really good, and Frank really liked it, and you really liked it, and we saw a lot of possibility for it. So we were like, we really want to keep pushing this. And then we ended up bringing it into EGS, and we've been working on it there in EGS ever since. And I think we as a team sort of mesh really well, which is why we're sort of able to work quickly and get things like you talked about quadrupling complexity in a month. Like that's sort of how we built it, is we start with that super simple, getting just the core game loop good, and then building on top of that on more and more and more, and always trying to focus on like what made it fun originally and how we can enhance that fun.
And so EGS was key, right? You mentioned Frank Lee, Dr. Lee, who runs the Entrepreneurial Game Studio, our in-house incubator, and also puts games on the side of skyscrapers in his spare time just for fun. So EGS, so GMAP 260, that's second year class, right? And you took an idea from that class, and that's a 5-6 week project. That's not supposed to be that complex of a thing. It's really just a sort of a starter project. This is the first 260 project I've heard of going on into EGS. I have only 30 seconds, but I'm curious on your thoughts on that transition from a classroom to EGS. Go.
In the class, we were figuring out things to fit sort of what we were trying to learn about what makes a game fun. But now that we're in EGS, we're figuring out what makes a game whole and complete, which is something we don't get as much from classes like 260.
Yeah, no, that starter experience, really being able to go into EGS and dive deep. But it takes commitment, right? That's all extracurricular. It's all outside of your classes. So I applaud you for your energy and your focus. I love this game, and not just because you put me in it in a funny, silly way, though I appreciate it. At least it's a kind way. I like to think it's a kind way. Maybe there's something more nefarious that I'm not picking up on.
Comes from the heart, bro. From the absolute best of places.
Well, bless you. Thank you so much for letting me talk to you today about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging around. We're running crazy late, and we're going to have to change our format. I'm going to hop around slightly out of schedule. But I'd like to keep the showcase going until around 4:30. So if you can keep your room open for that, I hope that people come by and check it out. If you want to know about from the starting game classes at Drexel, or you want to know what the heck EGS is, an entrepreneurial game studio, and what it takes to get accepted into that group and how it changes the way you approach game development while you're still in school, please, I encourage you all, use the event links on the event page and come talk to Tired Turtle Games. I'm too tired to be able to say your name anymore. But thanks so much. I got to go. Best of luck in your future endeavors. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Rob.
Hi, Lord Lloyd.
Bye. You're live. Here we are with Garden Club Studios. And
I'll
I
leave
muted.
before he goes live, but good job, guys. It was good.
Too late. Too late. I've already gone live because I forgot to unmute myself in Zoom. I have too many buttons. Too many buttons. Too many buttons. Hi, Robert. How you doing?
Hi, Rob. I'm good. How are you?
I'd love to talk to you, but go away. I got to talk to these guys about their incredible project.
Okay, bye.
So you can stay, but whatever. Hi. I don't see the animation students as much as I'd like to. You guys go off and you play in your own sandbox now, and I miss seeing the progression of your projects. But this is a beautiful project, and I'm so proud to just be associated with the same university as you guys who created this. You should be extremely proud of what you did. It's beautiful. It's lovely.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, you get 7 minutes, and half of that is showing your film. You don't get a lot of time to talk about this in the showcase. So what story did you not get to tell about the making of this project, or anything about it that you'd like to share now in this part of the show?
Well, one thing that we were talking about with someone else who was in here earlier was like one of the story struggles that we had. Like we kind of struggled for a while to land on an ending for our short, because a lot of people were telling us that it was like so intense with them like running and like, are they gonna get away? And then there wasn't like enough of like a relief at the end. Like we decided that we didn't want them to ever be violent towards the ringmaster, so we knew we didn't want them to like go attack him or like hit him or something. But I think it was actually Anthony's dad came up with the suggestion that he could, or the child could like break the prod, like the stick at the end. So we kind of landed on that because it's sort of symbolic of like breaking the cycle of abuse by like physically breaking something. And then we also did those like end credit stills, because that was also part of the problem, is that there wasn't like a satisfying like happy ending. So Mackenzie, props to Mackenzie for making those awesome end credit stills.
Yay!
So that's something interesting I feel that we didn't get to share in the presentation.
Those editorial choices of, you would all love to make an hour-long film if you somehow could and survive senior year. And it happens every year of trying to, everybody overscopes for senior projects. So I appreciate the challenge of making those editorial choices and then coming up with creative ways to extend that story. So doing it in that credit sequence, and then finding out what it really is, the critical scenes. Is there a scene, I mean, you had to make cuts. Everybody had to make cuts. Is there a scene that you had to cut that you had developed? A lot of things get cut early in storyboards and animatics. Was there something that got really deep and you had to still cut it?
I think we actually like had our sequences, like the general like there was kind of like 4 sequences that we broke it up into. We never really like cut any of those. There might have been like shots here and there. I think there was the scene where the ringmaster like walks up to the tiger and then it kind of fades to black and you don't really know what happens. I think we were struggling at one point with showing the hits, because it's kind of implied that the ringmaster is about to like hit the tiger or something after they've hit the child. But Milady actually gave us the advice to just cut those shots. Like I think we had 1 or 2 shots at the end like showing the hit or something. I don't know if anyone, Sarah, you animated that. Do you remember better than me?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember because we felt very strongly about like, we don't want to show like an animal getting hit in our short. Like that wasn't something that we really wanted to have on the screen. And I mean, it seems so simple, but the lady was just like, yeah, then just don't have it on the screen. Like just cut to black. And we were like, so oh my God, you're right.
She kind of like helped us, keep our scope in a little there too, because whenever we could cut a shot, we were like, yes, because it's less animation to do. So if it helped the story, that was great. Yeah.
No, that's a great combination. And Milady is an incredible asset to the whole program. She's really, she's amazing. I love working with her.
We love her.
But no, absolutely. It's so much more powerful sometimes to not show, but then you're animators and you're there to show, but being that very selective about it. The Pixar short, David Lally, one of our dragons, worked on producing all that whole series, but the Kitbull one, where it's dealing with the dog fighting thing, and that how they show the violence towards that animal has a similar balance. So you're playing in good company. So beautifully well done. I need to move on. I ask that that if we can keep the expo rolling until 4:30. I think after that we can bring it to a close, even running only half an hour over. But I'm so glad that I got a chance to spend some extra time with you guys and hear more about your project and share it with the stream. If somebody wants to know more, one, obviously come use the expo links to come in and join the rooms, but also what we'll do on the event page is we'll follow up with links to where the films will be posted, as well as where different project websites are for the teams that have them. But for right now, you've got another 15 minutes to hop into this room with this incredible team and talk about how they built this beautiful project. For now, I have to move on, and I'm so thankful for this time. But now, as I'm looking at clicking buttons and trying to do too many things simultaneously, thanks again, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers. Congratulations. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
I am here with one of our last teams that we have time for today in the expo. It's Fancy Sword Studio presenting their project Endpoint, and Johan and Joseph are here, and Michael is there as well. So we have we're running out of time. We're only going to run till 4:30. So in the 7.5 minutes you had to talk about your project, I'm sure you didn't get to talk about everything. So what aspect of your project did you not get to talk about that you'd like to talk about now?
I think the main thing that we really wanted to talk about is the different effects that we added to it. A lot of the effects and a lot of the images you saw are from a little bit older version of the game, and we really took the extra time and wanted to show that we were able to push ourselves under these tight deadlines and wanted to really get everything that we imagined the game to be. So we were able to add in new particle effects for the guns. We were able to actually update our entire pipeline to be
I'm going to pop up your graphics now. So while you're talking about it, you've got stuff playing. So yeah, so keep going. The particle effects.
So we have new particle effects. We actually updated our entire pipeline to the lightweight render pipeline, which was something we didn't think we were going to be able to do, especially this late in the game.
That made me very nervous that day. I was very nervous.
Yeah. But we did it. We were
did.
able to go and keep moving forward. I think, as mentioned before, our CCI team got third, but we can't thank them enough. A lot of the UI you're seeing is from our amazing developer Val, who traditionally does web development, but now he's helped us with our game, and now we're also having all these different changes were done by our like the dev lead, who stayed up all night with us and really worked through all the issues we were having. So we really can't thank them enough for all the work they did, and we're just so excited to like show off this game because it's been over like a year and a half now. Because I know that about 5 of us started this group in like winter of last year, so it was a great progress.
It's been a long journey.
It has been. It has been. Sorry, the game over loser came in just almost at the right time. Of it's been a long thing. Game over loser. No, it's you guys have impressed from the beginning. With the at first, you worried me a lot. You had a lot of deep UI systems and inventory things that weren't involved in the primary loop. And I worried that wasn't getting enough attention, but you pulled it off. You came back and you polished those things, and then you had the depth of all these additional systems that wouldn't have been there otherwise. So, no, and changing the render pipelines and doing taking the various risks that you took, you should be very proud that you pulled it off. So, no, I agree. That's the way you handled the project. It's game design and production. You did the end production well, in addition to the design part. So you should be very proud.
Thank you.
I think there might still be some of the expo rooms open, but we're coming down to our final 10 minutes of the expo. So I'm going to chat for you guys for just a few minutes and then see if there's another room still open for me to hop to. I'm suddenly lost my ability to have words.
We make you speechless. That's what we always say.
No, it's things like you did some beautiful detail work on the models and the animations, and then you eventually bowed to my pestering and did some camera zooms for death and other scenes, which I think is really important because people should really appreciate the level of detail that you put into all these various components, as well as its cool thing. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with you guys this year. You were hardworking and very productive, and you hit all the marks. So you should feel good about it. Now you can rest just a little bit. Thank you. And I'll see you on Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, hey, if they want to know more about this game, since the expo is basically over, where are they going to find out more about your game, man?
One, you can privately call me. I'm always available. No, we have a website you can download actually this version of the game currently off of our website. We plan on updating it with the newest version once we're done with it. But after that, we have all of our contact information out there in the world, and we'd love to hear more feedback. We want to improve as people, so just call us and let us know.
We are going to take all the event page that has all the links to the current expo rooms. We're going to update that with links to all the projects. So when people come to the page, and we'll put them in the YouTube links, YouTube comments as well, that people will be able to go and check out your website. So don't worry if you didn't say your link out loud, because I don't think your link's super simple.
Our link is not the easiest one.
Yeah, so we'll put that in the notes, and we'll put it on the webpage, and people will be able to come and check out more about your project. Thanks again for taking part in today and the overall craziness of this event, and appreciate your patience. Now go away and rest, and I'll see you next week. But thanks so much, and take care.
Will do.
Thank you.
All right. We are live with Grumpy Ghost Games and their incredible Boneyard. No. I muted you. That's what's happening. Oh, this is just professional production from top to bottom, ladies and gentlemen. The stream wasn't muted, but somehow I have my hotkeys crossed, and I am unmuting in the stream and muting in Zoom. So that's dangerous to have too many windows, ladies and gentlemen. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Count your win. I don't. Oh, bless you. I don't know what the I love the background. It's a very seductive skeleton you've got going on.
Oh
there.
yeah. Our French skelly.
I'm going to try to visit a few other rooms before we totally run out of time. And I basically just want to check in and, congratulate you. Great project, great success with CCI, well presented, dealing with the chaos of all of this. Are you playing live?
Yeah.
Or is that video? That's you playing. All right, I'm gonna take your faces off and let's put your game on here. Let's see what people are doing here. So who's playing again? Who's playing?
Right now, I'm P3. I don't know who P4 is.
Is it? P4 is me, and I'm about to die.
Down there. The
recovery.
Coyote time.
So,
no, get back here.
I swear we should have gotten sponsorship from Parsec, because they're enabling all of our couch multiplayer games to suddenly still be playable over the internet. So we're gonna turn this into a commercial for Parsec. They're gonna send us,
They
buckets.
deserve it.
So, and whoever is the internet provider for Ambrose, right? I think that's where you're running the Parsec server off of. So we need to get some sponsorship in here.
Yeah, we're currently running off Shadow for our actual server.
There you go. Free advertising, ladies and gentlemen. We just give it away. So while we've got this gameplay on here, man, you guys packed a ton of stuff in here. A ton of pickups, a ton of levels, a ton of detail. I don't know how you pulled it off. You all seem to still be alive. What did you cut?
We made creatures of the dead, so we didn't have to die.
With all the stuff you put in here, what did you actually cut? You cut something, right? Or did you? I totally forgot about the race mode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were quite okay with cutting things that weren't necessary. Anything to make the game better.
But we did cut the best character, a demon that we had a funny name for.
No, the race mode. I remember it's like, the race mode will be easy. It's just like the fight mode, but running. It'll and that didn't happen. And I think you made a good choice. I think you made a good choice.
Making the camera work with level design there was quite difficult to do with the time constraint.
Yeah, no, you got to focus on one or two core things, and you guys focused on about 20 core things, but you pulled it off, and you should be extremely proud. Thanks for hanging around. The expo is going to come to a close, and it should have closed a while ago. If you guys are going to hang out, I said 4:30, but if people are going to hang out till 5, stay in the room, and we'll continue to send tell people the links are there and you can keep your room open. Otherwise, check out the event page afterwards. Once we post this stream as the recording, we'll go and edit in and put in links to everybody's projects' websites and where you can watch the films and play the games. And Boneyard Brawlers is one that you were definitely going to want to play and get to know better. So congratulations, team. You did a great job. A really fun game. I love all the detail. Zooming in on almost any screen gets you something that rewards you for doing it. You should feel really good about it. So I have to go, but you get to stay if you want to. And those of you watching on the stream, if you want to go see more about this game, definitely check out the room and look for links later to it's grumpyghostgames.com. I think so.
It's grumpyghost.com.
Grumpyghost.com. No games. All right, but we'll get the links up later.
With a plural.
Ghosts.
Multiple ghosts.
Ghosts.
It's very haunted, not just one ghost.
All right. I'm going to go check out and see what rooms are still open and join them.
Boldly.
But yeah, so if Boldly is waiting, let's queue them up and we'll go check them out. Thanks for playing, guys.
Have a good day,
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Thanks, Rob.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye. We are live with Boldly. Rats. We are live with Boldly, and I've really got to get my hotkeys fixed so that I don't mute myself in one app while I'm unmuting myself in the other app. I'm a professional streamer. Do not try this at home. Oh man, thank you guys for thank you guys for being so patient. And this has been a weird and crazy day, but thanks for hanging around. I'm really glad to have a little extra time to come in and talk to you about your project. It's a hard thing that you did. Just the basic stuff is hard. You took a year-long effort in junior project and brought it in to senior project. You must be exhausted.
We are ready for summer break. I'm gonna put it that way.
It was a
I
great
believe.
opportunity to have to spend so much time looking into this project and the problems in this industry.
That you were able to go so deep into the topic and break it down, that you came in with this solid concept and solid framework, but you completely reinvented it. I mean, junior year, you had a website prototype, a functional website of the beginning of the concept, but it didn't have features that you built into it this year. And then also making it native to mobile. I mean, it's still even with the 2-year project, it was a lot to bite off. So what can we learn in our moment here today that didn't come across in 7.5 minutes in the formal presentation? Right here, it's what did you get to say about this project that you'd like to share now? How much you hate Troy, or how jealous you are of his PV amps, or whatever.
I think our mock-ups that weren't loading correctly in the presentation.
No. Shall I switch over? Yeah, let me switch over and show your screen. All right, we're looking at your graphics now.
Great. So you guys can take a little bit of a better look at our app in use.
So it's native on mobile. Is this something? At what point? I mean, you talked about it. Future moves, right? I get the impression that you're not done, that you're going to keep working on this. What is the next phase for this project?
That's been the number one question today, and I think it's one that we're still answering ourselves. Given the circumstances, I think we all need some time to rest and get some sleep, and then maybe come back to it with a fresh mind. But we're all going different places. Most of us are going to be within the greater Philadelphia area, but not sure what the job situation looks like, but I know there's so much passion and energy behind this project, not only from us, but from our CCI team, from our advisors, and from the potential users that we talked to throughout the past 2 years. We've had so many people say, when is this coming out? I need this. Like, this will totally change my business or my platform. And I know that I would love to give the people what they want. So I think the idea of continuing the project is for sure on the table.
Well, that's exciting to hear, and right, this is a challenging market, but I think in many ways we have, part of what's challenging right now is just simply communicating cleanly with anybody else in society, let alone brand to individual, or finding that more intimate, curated connection. Right, we're in an information age that is just overwhelming. To me, it's the age has got to be about curation. How do you find the things that you want? How do you find the things you care about? And your idea of connecting brands to smaller, more intimate influencers to try to make that connection, I think, is really powerful. So I think it's a good idea too, and I think it's something that is deserving of deeper thought. So I do hope that you get a chance to continue on with it together. So Troy, since we have you here, what do you have to say about this team?
This team's an amazing team. I think all the teams this year were amazing, but to see a project go from an inkling of an idea into this level of professional polish is it's an astounding process to witness. Proud of all the work they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. You should all be extremely proud. We're very proud of you guys. It's a lot to get through just the basics of it, but you did exceptionally well, and it's a strong idea. Well, excuse me, well executed, right? And the complexity of what you were challenged with, even, I mean, the construction of the contract negotiation process is a massive undertaking, and just the language of contracts and the legal side of that is one aspect of it. Creating on a mobile small screen platform a way to collaboratively develop that from a design point of view is a huge challenge, and I think you did it. You solved it really beautifully. So congratulations on all of that. Thank you so much for being patient and hanging around so that we get a chance to talk to you one last time. But you should all go get some sleep and recover from as much as you can, and finish out the term as best as you can. I'll see you next week. We're going to take the event page and the YouTube stream where this recording will be posted, and we'll capture all the links of all the projects, and we'll put all those things in there so people will be able to go and learn more. Though you guys do benefit from one of the simpler URLs of all the projects. Some of them are quite lengthy, but yours is fairly straightforward. It is
boldlyapp.com.
Boom. Simple as that. All right. Thanks again. Congratulations again. And it's time for me to say goodbye. All right. I'm going to see if there's... Thank you. I'm going to see if there's any more rooms still open, but I think we're coming to a close. So thanks again, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
And we're live with KO Games and their game Knockoff. We're running crazy late. We're going over time, but I'm glad that people are still hanging around, I hope, watching the stream. And I'm glad that you guys hung out and gave us an opportunity to see a little bit more of your game. What of all the different things that we got to see about your project, what did we not get to hear about during the formal presentation? And we're live with KO Games and their game Knockoff. Somebody's going to have to mute their copy of the stream. We're running crazy late. We're going over time, but I'm glad that people are still hanging around, I hope, watching the stream. And I'm glad that you guys hung out. I was muted, and somebody has their stream live. A little bit more of your game. What of all the different things that we got to see about your project, what did we not get to hear about during the formal presentation? And
so you probably didn't get to hear.
Somebody has the stream going. I have to mute their copy of the stream. We're running crazy late. We're going over time, but I'm glad that people are still hanging around, I hope, watching the stream. And I'm glad that you guys hung out. I was muted. There we go. Nope. All right. Now we're back to real time.
All right, so did people hear the question, or do you need to repeat it?
No, I'm just saying, what did we not get to hear about during the formal presentation? What do you want to tell people about the Knockoff?
We cut a lot of stuff. That's probably pretty evident from just, the scale of the original project. The original idea was to have the elements themselves combine with one another so that, water and fire would make steam, which would itself have its own property and gameplay things, or, earth and fire would make lava, and that itself would also have a gameplay thing. And that additionally, we took out the idea of having the tiles themselves inherit properties from the element that was sort of cast over them. So like tiles might catch on fire, or tiles might turn into rivers based on what elements players use. So all that sort of more deeper level of kind of elemental gameplay we had to roll back. And there is still a fair amount of emergent complexity just in the systems we have, with the triad system and the ability to store 2 spells each direction, and even just the combination of push, pull, and shatter all combined together to still give a pretty overall high ceiling experience for our players.
So I've got your gameplay up on screen. This is you guys playing live, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Yep.
That's correct.
So
we have Dave and Greg playing one-on-one. Dave is playing as the blue Zephyr character, and Dave is playing as Garnock.
Yeah, I'm playing Zephyr.
So Zephyr was probably our kind of flagship character, because we spent at this point the most time working on sort of smooth blended animations for that. You can see sort of as Greg is moving around with sort of the strafing, is the character is moving rather smoothly. Even when he turns, it plays different animations based on the direction the character is facing and the direction that the player is moving in. So kind of getting an upper body, lower body twist and blend there was probably one of the things we were happiest with by the end of this project, and something we focused a lot on in spring quarter.
You guys really pulled it together. There was a stretch there where you were questioning whether to go back to Unity originally, as you had originally prototyped it, and then you stuck with it, and you've accomplished great things. There's so much nice polish and tuning of the look and the feel of this game, and the characters and the animations. So much, really came together in this last stretch. So I feel like we should be a running commercial. I'm assuming you're using Parsec as well?
Yes, we're using Parsec right now.
Yeah.
Which for the most part has been running pretty well.
Yeah. So it's pretty impressive. So in our last couple of moments, I think there's one other project I'm going to try to get to before 5 o'clock and we end the stream. What else did we not get to talk about? Have you not been able to talk about this project? There's so much here. It's so deep. What's your website? We're going to put the various websites out on the various event pages.
Playknockoff.com.
Yeah.
We can provide links at some point.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get all the links up on the YouTube stream and the event pages for this. We'll get all the project things up. I love the additional levels that you pulled together. You know what Jackson and Dimitri did with the animations, Hunter with the effects.
We added in some cute other things, like we added the ability for players to emote to each other using sort of cutesy emoticon character things. So you can see that in a second. But if we hop into a game, players can actually use the pads to, send emotes to each other.
It's really, there's a lot of depth here that I know originally you had the depth of scope. You talked about the things that you had to cut, but you worked a lot back into the experience. And then there's a lot of finesse with the various effects and all of that. So extremely proud we are of you, and you guys should be of yourselves. Thanks for hanging around extra late today and sharing the project with us. It's really quite cool. We still have a number of people still on the stream checking it out. So thank you so much, KO Studio and Knockoff Games. It's been a pleasure, and have a great day. All right. Thank you. We are live with Team Android about their project Android. While I'm going to cut you some slack on the lack of imagination on the titling, your project was incredible. I loved seeing the level of motion capture that you brought to the whole thing, and photogrammetry to bring in the faces. Though I remember when we were in rehearsal, you were talking about the scratches and the dents on the mercenary, and it's like, well, but why not Nick's dent? He comes dented. I was kind of disappointed that you didn't capture that, but maybe he doesn't appreciate that. I don't know. So congratulations on a really cool project. You had an opportunity to show us the film, which is incredible to see, and we're going to find ways to share the film more after this live event today. You got a chance to present it formally, and slides and practice speeches and all that. What didn't you get to talk about today about your project? What story did you not get to tell?
I think that one of the main things was just how much, it wasn't a few shots here or there that got cut. We didn't want to spend too much time talking about this formally, but how much production, how much over scope we went and met that challenge, only to, at the very last minute, have it pulled. We had not a few fight scenes, but 2 full minutes and dialogue that are almost 100% animated. The dialogue and face cap has been captured and applied, but we couldn't get people to record voices. Something about being really close to people in a closed environment while there's a pandemic just didn't enable us to do that. So yeah, that's one of the things.
No, it's I think it's, you look at the team roster and you just see this handful of people, and then you look at the scope of what you attempted. One of my favorite things about your project, after watching Nick get a beatdown, is that final slide of your presentation. The army of support that you marshaled from our undergraduates and other seniors, other programs. I mean, it was incredible. And just the sheer management of that size of a team. What I often will warn senior project teams about is, like, be cautious engaging people who don't have a grade at stake, right? If you're not paying somebody or they don't have a grade at stake, at some point the pressures of life will push on them and they will have to choose their priorities over yours. It's not that they're bad people, it's just this is the pressures of life. That you were able to keep a dedicated team of people working with you on this ambitious project is a testament to your ability to run the project as well as create one that was that compelling to them to be involved with. Can you talk a little bit to the challenges of working with that large of a volunteer group?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I can talk a little bit about that. So it was challenging. I learned a lot from the process of doing that. One of the big things is we got a lot of sophomore students to help model environment objects. And a lot of that was kind of like we had to solve, like, how do we prepare the information for our projects so that we can keep them up to date on the story so that they know what kind of assets they can help us with. So there was like a big planning and getting all that together. We got a lot of help with motion capture from actually Drexel Motion Capture Club members, and both in acting and like on the technical side. And that actually was really, really, really essential for us with the amount of motion capture there was, and also like the assistance with acting. That process was really just that we had a lot of students that were just excited to learn about motion capture and to be involved. So actually, like, a lot of it was just, we kept them updated and we made sure things were organized, and like they did all of the stuff because they just wanted to be a part of the team and they were excited.
It's a really big note to mention that they offered their help and their excitement. And even if someone had a small role, they were able to participate in whatever way they could. They could join now and drop later, and we never held them to, like, this isn't your final thing that you have to absolutely do. If you'd like to participate, great. And those who stepped up just kept getting more and more and more because there's always more work to do. And that being said, we knew, I think a few years ago, even if we didn't quite literally know, I think we knew that when we created the Drexel Motion Capture Club, we wanted to end our senior project strong with something that represented what we learned over those years and those other projects. So a lot of those numbers came from that.
I also just want to add, just wanted to add real quick, we also had like juniors on our team help like with management specifically, which was really helpful because it was like, okay, we're a really small group of seniors and there's a lot of people. So also we tried to get underclassmen students to help us with the management. So we had like a whole system going.
And week after week they showed up. So that was like,
No,
we didn't make them, we didn't pay them in cookies or whatever. They just showed up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You should be extremely proud, and they should all be extremely proud for what they accomplished. You've helped them learn so much and be so much more prepared for their own senior projects. So I love that intergenerational approach, and I hope it's one that we can continue to encourage. I'm going to go and talk to Dog in a Jacket Productions for our last conversation before the end of the stream here. But I am thankful, very thankful, that you guys hung out and I got a chance to talk to you a little bit more about this project, because it's really quite amazing what you accomplished. So congratulations. Thanks for hanging out. Mr. Fernandez, see you later. Unless you're going to hop over to Dog in a Jacket, because I've been chasing him and Glenn Muschio around all day. All right. Let me stare at my screen like an idiot for a moment until I can figure out the right button to push. And then I'm going to step away. But thank you so much, all of you, Team Android, for sharing your project with us today. And congratulations. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are here with our final team that we're going to talk to on our tour of the Digital Media Expo 2020. We are with Dog in a Jacket Productions, and I'm asking you about the team name in just a moment. And their incredible project that opened our show today, the showcase at noon, sign language. Guys, incredible project, beautifully done. Got really strong response and well-deserved, but you're going to have to take even just a moment or two and explain to me whose dog is wearing a jacket.
Yeah, so we were shooting one day. We were just trying to like gather some random footage because that was based off of like one of the critiques that we got is that things seemed too scripted in the first iteration of our film, and a suggestion we got is to, just film things as they are and try and make our character fit into that situation. So we were just gathering around some random footage, and we found this one shot of this little cute dog in a jacket, and he was like reacting perfectly to like something that wouldn't even be there yet, which was like crosswalk guy running past him. But since it was just like a cute dog, we decided it'd be a funny name for the short dog in a jacket.
I remember that shot. That is an amazing. I was like, how did they cue the dog? That was really
I'm pretty
good.
sure we had like Max or somebody like make a sound on the other side, try to get him to look.
And it actually worked.
I don't remember that, but probably, yeah.
Well played, everyone. All right, well, cool. I'm glad to hear that there was actually a good story. Somebody earlier was like, we just went to a name generator, though I don't think that's actually the case. But so I always like to hear the weird story behind the naming. Everybody overscopes for senior project. Everybody has to cut. So I'll give you a choice. You can answer either question. We only have a couple of minutes before we bring it all to a close and everybody can go to sleep, and I'm just going to collapse into a puddle in the corner. But one, what was something that you had to cut that hurt to cut? Not just, we can't do this, and actually it's good to cut it, but was there something that hurt to cut? Or two, the other option is, what about all of this that you didn't get to talk about in the presentation that you'd like people to know about what you did in this project? You can answer either one of them.
Okay. Well, in terms of like cutting things, there was never really a point where like we were hurt by it until like the very, very beginning, where like we had like
Until the very
just
beginning.
ideas of like ways that like it's the same story still flowed, right? Where like he had to cross the street, but how does he solve that situation of him getting stepped on? And like we had ideas that like all these other objects that are like associated with traffic, like a traffic cone and like a traffic light, they're all like sentient as well. Like they could all help him out. And right off the bat, like our advisor Dave, he was like, this might have been a little bit too much, or this wouldn't really help the story. And at first we were like, we were kind of hurt, like letting it go. But looking back, it really made sense to just keep it simple, keep it short.
Yeah, we resisted him at the beginning too, and I remember there was an email that said like, sometimes you gotta let go of what you love, guys. You gotta, and like there was an umbrella character that we really loved, but we had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's you literally cannot do it all, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you guys did very effectively was tell a story with the elements that you needed, and then you had the time and the resources to execute them really well. And that's what made this really strong project in the end. And yeah, it does hurt to let go of those things, but you held on to what you needed to. And so, yeah, you don't like getting those emails as where somebody says, yeah, this whole first third, just cut it. It's like, but that's my baby. Yeah. So that's cool. Thank you for that. What did we not get to hear about this project? What did we not get to hear about it during the presentation?
I guess on the, when you see it, you kind of assume like it's all one big day of shooting. But like the reality of it is we had to go back to the set and reshoot, I think 20 plus times over the course of like 4 months or so of just continuing to shoot over and over. Where like some plates doesn't work, or like an edit didn't work here, so we need to shoot new footage, and almost to the point where like we had started shooting this like in the spring, and we never used any of that footage, and this went up until winter time when all the leaves and the foliage in the background are pretty much dead at that point. But I don't think anyone really noticed upon viewing it that like in the beginning some shots have like brown orangish leaves, and towards the end it's like they're just dead.
Well, it took him a really long time to get across that street. We just don't recognize how long it took.
Epic story.
No, absolutely. I was curious about that, and that's something that I know. I talked to the game and the IDM students that this isn't a 30-week project; it's a 10-week project. You do 3 times. And I know Nick says this something similar, that you're going to make this thing 3 times, and that it is. You think the first time you shoot something, the first time you build an asset, the first time you make a build, it's like, oh, this is it. Oh, this is perfect. And then you get to the end and you realize like, wow, nothing we did survived, but it did. It survived in spirit, right? It survived in that iteration, but the actual footage is long gone. So that's really that's interesting to hear, and I appreciate that. This has been an epic day. It's interesting. I didn't really intend. I did have you. You opened the show for us. I knew you were going to open strong, and you did. I didn't intend to bookend the process. You've been sitting at your computers for the last 5 hours in one form or another, and I really appreciate that stamina. I'm willing to do it because I have my own, nefarious motives. But I really appreciate that you stuck with it today. And I'm super sorry to every student group and project that I didn't get to. We went way over time, and I just can't ask myself or everyone else to stay here till 8 o'clock so I can go talk to everybody. But we're going to put up links. We're going to find ways to hopefully share your films and everything else, so that anybody who didn't catch something live, and the recording is here, but then there's lots of ways for other people to catch all this stuff. And this film, your film, Sign Language, is beautiful and should be watched. All the projects that today were incredible, but yours was particularly strong. You should be extremely proud of what you accomplished. You did it really quite beautifully. So congratulations. Thanks so much for hanging out. and
Thank you. Yeah.
And I'd like to say I'd see you at commencement, but we'll figure that out, right? They'll
We'll have to find out. Yeah,
I'll see you in the same way here. But we'll cross paths again. Thanks again, and those on the stream, stick with me. I just want to make a sort of a closing statement. But thank you guys so much, and go home or stay home or unplug. Take the headphone. My headphones are stuck to my ears permanently. Go outside, enjoy a little sunshine. Just be safe, be sane, and thanks again, and congratulations again. Well deserved.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Have a good one.
This was a longer day than we planned. It was a messier day than we planned. I am thankful for everyone who has hung around. There's actually a few people still watching, and I'm very grateful for that. But I hope that people return for this recording and forgive my sins as a first-time streamer. I muted people more often than I wanted to, and I unmuted them when I didn't want to, but mistakes were made. But I hope that this celebration of these incredible student projects helped you to understand the amazing work that happens here at Drexel and in the digital media department. As speaking for the faculty, we could not be more proud, not only of this, our 20th graduating class, but of 20 years of alumni coming back, and in that congratulatory video that we showed at the end of the showcase, sending those messages of support. And that's just a small sample of what our alumni do for our students. It's an incredible network, and they're so supportive, and they've helped each other, dragons helping dragons, getting to the next tier of their career. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and that video is just one sample of how the alumni support our students in the program. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for supporting the teams. Again, my sincerest, deepest apologies for the teams in the Expo that I did not get a chance to visit today. Thank you so much for participating. I hope that you got some people to come and visit and say hi. And we'll put all the links to all the projects and all the groups on the event page and on the YouTube stream and elsewhere. So with that, you don't have to go home, or you don't have to stay home, but you can't stay here. I don't know. I'm going to go away now and lie down. Thank you so much. Signing off from Philadelphia and Drexel's digital media program. This is Rob Lloyd, Program Director for Game Design and Production and Senior Project Coordinator for Digital Media, saying good night. Bye-bye.